Hello, good evening, and welcome to the FB4 podcast for this Sunday night. I'm Gav, and I'm joined by Chris, and I'm joined by Grizz tonight to talk over Liverpool's first league defeat in about 3 years. We'll have a look at the game yesterday against Watford, what went wrong, how it went wrong, and everything in between. We'll also look forward to the Chelsea game on Tuesday. I want the lads' reaction, opinion on how they feel we will line up come Tuesday. And of course, any other stuff that arrives in on the chat is more than welcome, whether that's football, Liverpool, or just random. Try to keep the random stuff till the end. I'll give you the heads up. Here we go. And here we go. It's a strange one tonight. It's very, very strange talking about a league defeat for Liverpool. I don't think we've done it in about 14 months. So it's a bit of a strange one tonight, but I'm sure we'll get loads of comments in with regards to the defeat yesterday. I'm looking forward to Chelsea and looking forward to Bournemouth next Saturday, early Saturday. Grizz, I'm going to come to you first, and I start where I always start, and that's the lineup. A couple of surprises in there, mainly the centre half, LOVREN, playing instead of Gomez, who wasn't in the squad. Keita wasn't in the squad. I asked for predictions about when the team came out, and did this make you nervous with these two in the team? I know it's hindsight as always, but when you seen those two out, Keita and Gomez, and who they're replaced by, were you a little bit sceptical going into the game?
Yes. I mean, Keita was ruled out with injury, but I think Ox was going to start anyway, or would have started anyway.
Okay.
So that would have taken care of itself.
Mm-hmm.
The Degsy one, it made sense, and it didn't make sense from a fan's point of view. So the not so friendly fans of Degsy would say, "Wow. Troy Deeney is going to bully him, etc., etc. This is going to be one of those games where, he's going to have brain farts galore. Also, he hasn't played much." Or you could say, the ones that think he's okay as a fourth centre-back would have said, well, he hasn't let us down if we analyse it the last couple of years. Maybe a handful of games. But overall, he's been decent alongside Virgil. He's aggressive. He likes a battle. So he should be, in that sense, he's more of a front foot defender than Joe Matip. But I did think he was a bit of a surprise because Joe Matip was back to full fitness, and he actually ended up on the pitch, didn't he? He came on against West Ham.
Mm-hmm.
So, you would have thought that he was probably ahead of him, but, Klopp does these ones, and he's loyal to the players he likes, and very, very rarely he can get it wrong. And I'd say he probably, hindsight, as you said, is a wonderful thing. I'd probably say he got it a bit wrong this weekend.
Yeah, Chris, Grizz touches on something there. Now I had Keita in the side before I knew he had a slight niggle and he was over, so I thought he would start. Because I thought even though we needed a change of direction against West Ham with Oxlade-Chamberlain coming on, I felt that this game, Keita wasn't the worst player on the pitch. It was just a circumstance that had him taken off against West Ham. There was loads of more suitable. If you were going on the theory that who's not performing well, there was loads more candidates than Keita for me on Monday night. So I felt that Keita would get this game. The LOVREN one puzzles me because, like Grizz says, Matip is back to full fitness. He's been seen around the place more than LOVREN has. He comes on against West Ham, and then he turns and he plays LOVREN from the start and leaves Matip on the bench. It was a strange one, Chris. There's no doubt about it.
It is, but maybe I'm assuming he probably just thought LOVREN normally, like Chris says, likes a battle. I mean, he normally always throws LOVREN in against Tottenham when Kane's playing, because Kane's similar to Deeney, as he's a big lad. He likes to hold someone, or he likes to feel someone close to, and that kind of suits Lovren's game. It just unfortunately didn't work out, but it's pretty rare it happens, to be honest. And like I said, the people who don't like Lovren will never like Lovren. You know, he's that type of Marmite player. You either love him or you hate him. You know, and people, you know, won't give any benefit.
I wouldn't say not many would love him.
No, but no.
Extreme.
But as in, like, I don't. If Lovren's picked, I don't go into heart attack mode. Going, here's the first loss. This is a disgrace. You know, this is mediocrity at its greatest. You know, I kind of go, look, he does what he does. And as I had a falling out on Twitter with someone, which was like, name me a better fourth choice centre back. That's what he is. He's a squad player. So my view of squad players is they're a squad player because they're probably not quite good enough to be a regular. But if they're a fourth choice, they'll still be decent enough. I mean,
yeah.
And the answer I got back was Hoover, who's 17. I went, yeah, great, because Klopp's going to throw a 17-year-old against Troy Deeney. It's not going to happen. Yeah, the Matip thing, all I can think is maybe Matip's been really shit in training. We don't know. We don't. Yeah. We don't. Yeah. Or Klopp must have thought Lovren's style of play suited Watford. It didn't work out that way. I don't think. But I just, as we'll get onto it, it's the usual scapegoat thing. Brought Lovren in. Last time we lost was on Lovren play, so let's blame Lovren. You know. But my personal thing is there's quite a few senior players in that game who I think have got away with murder because everyone goes, quite a few. Because I would say quite a few of the senior players who play regularly, I would say the purpose of them is you help a squad player, you help a new player into a side through those sort of games. But actually, if anything, the benefit of Lovren is for them is everyone blames Lovren and tells him he's shite, you know, and he wasn't brilliant. But but then it's like, but you can't blame these guys. The reason these guys didn't play was because Lovren unsettled them, which is utter crap. Because if Lovren is that unsettling an influence, as some fans claim, we've got a manager there who's paid a lot of money. Surely he can see that. And if he thinks Lovren's an unsettling influence, he just doesn't pick him. Because he sold enough players that he thinks that are bad influences on the team, on or off the pitch.
Yeah, Kev O'Sullivan asks, Grizz, do you think with a 22-point lead, he had an eye on Tuesday night and given them a game beside Virgil to get a game under his belt because he'll play in the Cup?
No.
I
don't think he had an eye on that game. With reference to Lovren starting this game, I think it was solely based on the type of defender Lovren is and the type of game he's more accustomed to sort of doing well in the past, and that's all it was. And as Chris says, look, he was awful. I mean, as you know, I was at the game. Mm-hmm. He was awful, all right? But the whole 1 to 11, and I include Alisson, who is the world's best keeper and has been a revelation. And you know more than most how much of a fan I've been of his from the start, even before we bought him. But even Alisson, Gav, had the jitters. Even his clearances from the start. There was just something about Liverpool from the offset that was just nervous. A nervousness that I've personally have never seen live under Klopp's tenure. I haven't. It was a total throwback to, you know, maybe the Rodgers era type sort of insecurities everywhere. And to pin it and blame it solely on one player is pretty scandalous of the LFC fan base, to be honest with you. Absolutely, he was awful. No one can defend that. But I tell you what, every single player in red. What colour were we wearing?
Red.
Every single player in red was fire low.
You mentioned that every single player, and look, I'm not going to argue that point. I felt that against West Ham we got away with a victory where we were poor. I think we were poor against Atletico. I think we weren't great against Norwich. Chris, is this a trend starting to set in? Now, people have jumped down my throat and go, oh, you're being fucking over dramatic and stuff like that. Listen, there's no doubt we're winning the league title, okay? We've pushed it out by a week, in my opinion. Possibly 2 if results don't sit our way over the next couple of weeks. But Are you not a little? I'm worried is the wrong word to use. It's very hard to articulate this. Are you not concerned or just looking at this team at the moment and going? I have two theories on it, Chris. I have one where the legs are gone. Okay, the absolute effort they've put in over the first six months of the season, August, September, October, November, December. Yeah, 7 months of the season. The legs could be very weary, and we're just trying to find our way back. Or is it complete complacency? I'm hoping it's complete complacency because the whole team seem to be at it. What way are you looking at this? Is it something you're concerned over, or do you just think, nah, this is, like people have said on the chat, this is the kick up the arse they needed? They were probably going into league games for the last 2 or 3 league games going, this is wrapped up, we'll just show up and play. And no, you can't just show up and play. You have to go out and actually do your job.
Yeah, I'm probably the wrong person to ask because I've been accused of being, too much of probably a fanboy or being too positive about the results. Top red. Oh no, I've never been accused of that yet. I don't have enough followers for that.
Okay.
So I can't be accused of that. But I'm in the games I've seen, my opinion has been, have we been as good as we were before the break? No, probably not. Mm-hmm. But the one difference with the Watford game to all the others is even the West Ham game where I thought we were okay. We're not great, but we're okay. The big thing is when he went 2-1 down, we ratcheted it up about 2 or 3 levels. Yes, I know the Salah goal was fortunate, but I think it came from applying pressure, and eventually they buckled under it. Norwich was similar, is that they weren't great, but we still kept the ball. We still maybe not creating a load of chances, but we made a chance. We had it, and even Madrid, we only created probably 3 big chances that we should have done better with. But we still created 3. Watford was, to me, was a complete anomaly because we didn't defend well, we couldn't pass the ball 5 yards, and basically we didn't create a thing. You know, Ben Foster basically could have left his gloves in the changing room. Mm. So mine's been more of I think there has been we are sometimes a bit slower at these breaks, and I wonder it's a combination of just come back from a break. But I think the thing people are overlooking as well is I think having no Milner and no Henderson when the pressure's on, I think you're going to get away with that for a few games. I think you need one of those quite experienced. I know we've got Van Dijk and people like that, but I think in the midfield, I think you need one of them two in the midfield. When it was that Watford game at half time, if you had a Henderson or a Milner to throw off the bench, yeah, I'm not saying we'd have won, but I think that would have been the kick up the arse of we're not having this. Pull yourself out. There probably wasn't enough of someone bollocking a player, bollocking each other like they do. Yeah, when things were, they're all quite. It was just a bit too nice, a bit too friendly in that game, and it's just like. But the other thing is, I don't know, look, and I don't think it's complacency because I don't think Klopp would allow that. I do wonder, although we're saying we are miles ahead of the league, we're 22 points clear, we are going to win the league. Is there somewhere a little bit of pressure, as in like almost like it's dawned on them, as in like shit, we're 4 games away from the big one, that no Liverpool fan ever thought they could talk about, as in the thing. The last time Liverpool won a league, I was 6. So it's one of those things where you go in like most Liverpool fans can't remember us winning the league, and you do wonder with some players is as great as it is to be known as you'll be the first team to win the league for Liverpool. There is a sort of pressure on that, and I just don't wonder if maybe it got up to it. It's got to a point where they've gone, shit, it's going to happen. Yeah. And then and the Watford games has been a bit of a slap in the face to go, yeah, it is going to happen, but you've got to still do the things you've been doing. Yeah, like Avo says, he feels it's because Henderson is missing. He reckoned the leader on the pitch. They looked clueless yesterday. Not one player over a 5 out of 10. Ellis says it's very, very rare in this side that where both attack and defence had off games. Santiago says, sorry, that's gone off the screen. Ben Webb says, I personally think it's a break in rhythm. JJ says the captain being there and shouting and letting people know what's going on has been missing as well. Screwball asks, have you mentioned Henderson? Badly missed. Henderson's getting a lot of love here, even though he didn't play yesterday. I know where people are coming from. I think when you look at the midfield, we talk about the function of it, but the actual drive in the midfield as well to block passing lanes. There's something missing there.
Gav, it's not just the drive, etc. People very often underestimate the value of people talking on the pitch. Do you know what I mean by that? Like, sort of just ordering people about. And it's often laughed at Hendo's just a shouter and, he doesn't offer much else, which is ridiculous. It's only kids and deluded people say that. But I noticed it yesterday, and without Milner and Henderson, we are a very quiet team. Virgil Virgil is vocal and Robbo is vocal as well. But the thing is, there was no one talking from the midfield through to the forwards. So Hendo gives that from a central point of view. Small little things we underestimate about the likes of Milner and Henderson, about their in-game sort of changes they're able to make and see what's happening. So, for example, we see that Troy Deeney is being horrible and giving Degsy an absolute nightmare of a time. Why not just sort of Henderson go just in front of him on goal kicks, on set pieces? You know what I mean? Just in front of Degsy. Small things like that make a difference. Milner becoming, they were leaving challenges in. And I was thinking, why is none of our players in the referee's face and telling him what the F is that? Because they were going for it. Sorry, Chris. I'm just going to finish off now by saying, these are little things that have developed really well. We're much better at it, right? The dark arts. But when there's no Henderson, Milner on that pitch or in the squad, we do revert to our nicety, the nice version of Liverpool, and that's not always, what's needed. Sometimes, you need to be nasty like they were, and fair play to them. They were magnificent.
They were brilliant.
I haven't seen a team press us for 90 minutes. We always say team can press us for 60 minutes, 65 minutes, maximum 70 minutes, and then we take over. This team, to the very last second, the likes of Decore and Capoue were pressing like monsters. Fair play to them.
There's a lot of the varying opinions coming in is great. Like, one person has Oxlade-Chamberlain, it will be in his best midfield along with Henderson and Wijnaldum. Somebody else has Oxlade-Chamberlain getting away with absolute murder. He's bang average and was terrible again yesterday. But look, we could go through the goals and we could go through different bits. But Chris, Grizz mentioned something there. Watford. You have to hand it to them. I thought they were brilliant from start to finish. And I will say one thing. It's very hard, as Grizz, and again, I'm agreeing with Grizz, it's very hard to keep up with Liverpool for 90 minutes. Usually you get to 60, 70, and then the tank starts to empty. But how much of that yesterday, like, I want you to give Watford loads of credit, but how much of it yesterday was Watford being able to go that 90 because Liverpool seemed to be just way off the pace, way off it?
I think we allowed them too much respect, if anything. Especially for the first time in a while, that front three had no threat. So I think that allowed Watford the chance to push them a bit higher than probably teams don't normally do against us. And in fairness to him, Daddy scored 2 Sarr. Yep. That was all that was missing from his game at Anfield. Yep. He did everything. He did a very similar game at Anfield. He just couldn't hit the target. Today he took his opportunity, and his second goal, fair play to him. He took it really well, just dinked it round Alisson, which not many players do. So, and he does look, I would say, quite a talent they've got there. They'll do well to keep hold of him. I think he's quite good. But, you've got to give him the credit. As much as we can all talk about, Liverpool were poor, Liverpool weren't great, and all that's true, they've still got to do their game plan and work at it. Because otherwise, if they don't, we might again nick it 1-0. My hope is now is, because the monkey's off the back, as you can't do the invincible season now, and maybe this is you played poorly in the past, but still got the win. This is, you played poorly and you haven't got the win now. So maybe I'm hoping this is going to be the kick up and the shock up the arse. Everyone goes, Christ, we need to actually, get back to basics and probably go ratchet up another level or two. And as back to what Chris was saying about the Henderson situation, the example you can give about us being too nice is Deeney goes through Trent just above the ankle, the yellow card all day. Ref barely gives anything. I guarantee it. If Milner or Henderson on the pitch there, they're in the ref's ear, he's getting booked for that. And that alone, you get Deeney on the booking, again, he's got to tailor his game now and not be as aggressive, because otherwise he's off. And we know how easy it is to do that these days, but we were just like, let it go. And there's too much of that, which is very not what we've been like. You've got to be nasty. You get away with being nice when you play something like Bournemouth. Yeah. When you Watford away or West Ham away, you can't go there and be nice. You've got to match their effort.
Excuse the pun, but it was the perfect storm, I think, yesterday for Watford. Like, they worked very hard. They had a game plan. it fell well. Liverpool didn't play well, and Santiago says their relegation is a powerful motivator. And listen,
Yep.
it probably was one of those where Watford went, we've nothing to lose here, lads. The weather's not great. It's probably a bit of a leveler. Let's go out and do what we and they've probably been looking at Liverpool in the last couple of games going, they've been off for a little bit. Let's test them today and see if they're off it a little bit more. Grizz, the more and more I think about this, I don't think it's pressure, right? I'm not sold on that. I think that this side and this squad and this manager have been in enough pressure situations as part of Liverpool Football Club to be able to deal with, we need to win 4 games. Because when you look at the pressure to get into Champions League finals, title races, we haven't really buckled. So when I look at this, is it perfect, Grizz? And I don't mean, it's obviously not perfect to lose a game, but to have this invincible thing out of the way, although we all would have loved it, don't get me wrong, but to have it out of the way now where it's not, every fucking game is just so intense. Could this side play with a bit more freedom because they don't have that to chase now? They just know win 4 them. You can just tell the league to piss off after that. And B, it's the kick up the arse that, we've been going through the motions a little bit and getting results, and this is a proper shock to the system. Could it work well? Because I expect a massive, massive reaction against Bournemouth next Saturday.
Couple of things. Look, nobody expected that. Nobody saw that. We didn't think we're gonna, get trounced 3-0. Now, the invincible tag, well, Klopp alluded to it, didn't he, in the press conference? Who's the best person to listen to in these situations, apart from me? Jurgen Klopp. Right? So Jurgen
from
Klopp...
you. Okay, go on.
Jurgen Klopp says, look, at least you guys won't ask me about it now. And he's openly said, he goes, at least we can relax and maybe play our football. So this is our manager saying this. I totally expect us to relax now, and you're right. Subconsciously, Gav, at the end of the day, we are on the verge of our first title in 30 years. Yes, we've been to Champions League finals and Europa League finals and Carabao Cup, whatever it was at the time, but this is the one for us. So there must be, every player must be feeling a slight tension, a slight nervousness. I don't think it's the reason for our slight dip. For me, there is absolutely no inquisition to be held long term.
I fully agree.
It's every great team of the past has a blip, has a bad patch, and if our one sort of means that we get our first loss in March, then so be it. I genuinely think. If we were going to lose the invincible record and whatever, I think this was the best way of doing it. If you know what I mean.
Just get bashed.
I wouldn't have liked to lost in the last minute or a VAR decision, and we had chances galore and we were missing them. And do you know what I mean? One of those 3-2 games or 2-1, we got thrashed. The media made an absolute brilliant hoo-ha of it, and credit to them.
I'll get the
opposition fans, Gary Neville, etc. Brilliant. This is all part and parcel of being the most amazing team and the best football club in the world. This is part and parcel of it. And we embrace it, we accept it, and we have the perfect manager to use that for the coming 10 games or so. I think it was the best of the worst situations that could have happened to us.
Okay. A lot of people are asking what Chris's @ is on Twitter. So I've just seen replied there. Ben Webb was asking. We could all start a petition to get Ben Webb on this show, couldn't we, Chris?
Yeah, he's too big for us now, isn't he?
I know, yeah. I know you claim to be a superstar, but I think he is a bit of a superstar.
No, he's a superstar, man.
Yeah, isn't he writing for KLOPP 90 now?
Oh, amazing!
Yeah, good stuff.
What
isn't
a man!
It?
Brilliant.
Yeah, it is good stuff. Go and look up Ben Webb and look up his stuff for KLOPP 90. It's actually brilliant stuff. He loves writing. It's very hard to get him behind the microphone though, and he charges a hell of a lot of money, which I'm not paying unless he's willing to take it in cans. And because that is the currency of this podcast.
It's a lot of cans there.
Look, Keith says, evening folks, Poxy Day at the office. Think we get a reaction from it. A lot of people are saying that they feel we might go out on Tuesday to try put that to bed. I personally, I think Tuesday is not going to change because of what happened yesterday. I fully believe that. I think the plan is in place for Tuesday probably going back since during the break, after the Shrewsbury win, and I'd say the plan is in place, barring one or two little niggling injuries. I'd say he has it already picked as to what he's going to do. The thing is, your reaction you want is against Bournemouth. You go out, and the biggest reaction for me will be the tempo, how quick we are, how sharp we are. Because, Chris, the one thing I will say is, right, we defended badly in certain instances. Midfield hasn't probably been physical enough. I think I'm going to say it, I think they look lost a bit without Henderson. I think he's been the drive in that midfield. I think Fabinho benefits massively from him being there. Wijnaldum, Salah, Trent, they all benefit massively from him being there, because just the area he sits in, he patrols and he lets other lads do what they're doing. But I just want a big reaction come Saturday. And Chris, the forward line is probably where I want the reaction from most, because I think they were very, very poor yesterday. We had one shot on target in the whole game. They just looked way off it. That's where I want to see the biggest reaction, Chris.
Me too. It's like Madrid. They're too static. I mean, Manning to me has not been right since the Madrid game when he lost his head. Mm-hmm. I don't know what's going on with him. Bobby, I think because of the way they pressed up, sort of took his space. And Salah, he just goes through stages like this where he can be incredibly frustrated, but if he has that chance, he'll do it. But yesterday, again, I don't know what it was. I forgot all three were on the pitch.
Yeah, it was just poor.
It was very poor. So I don't know what. I can't really put my finger on why they're so quiet. Is it because they're not getting the right supply? There's probably a factor of that. But I think sometimes they've got to go hunting for a little bit more, which is what they used to be really good at. I mean, maybe they're just going through a blip like the whole team is. I think Fabinho's having a blip at the moment, because I don't think he's quite come back the same player since his injury. I think he's still feeling his way back. And not, like you said, not having Henderson next to him is probably not helping him. But yeah, I do think the front three got off very lightly in the criticism I've seen of the performance, or lack of.
A lot of people, Grizz, are saying that it's too predictable. We look predictable. We're playing a certain way to try to get their men on the ball, and they're able to cut it out. That's a fair point, Grizz, because sometimes we're just going to need to be able to, put balls in behind defenders and turn defences and then start from there. Or instead of Salah pulling out wide and looking at the ball to be played and facing up a defender, getting into his feet and being strong, maybe coming inside and looking for it. We need to be a little... Is it a little bit predictable for you, Grizz, where you go, yeah, I even knew what he was going to do there, and people are coppling on a little bit?
Yeah.
And and the predictability, sorry, Grizz, can come from a lack of sharpness or maybe a little bit of tiredness or complacency. All of that stuff can lead to being predictable, not just how good a football you are.
I can accept that criticism of Klopp.
It's not of you. It's not the criticism isn't of you. It's of the players, but I wouldn't criticise you like that. I don't think you're in any way predictable.
No.
I just want to put that on record.
But I can see where people are saying that about us as well. I can definitely see that. I think Klopp's possible plans and sort of rotation of players and changes in formation are slightly handicapped with the injuries to Shaq and Keita. I think that doesn't help. I certainly think there are times where you think Klopp could be a bit more flexible formation-wise. Last season, he seemed to be a bit more flexible than this season. But this season, obviously, you think to yourself, well, why fix something that ain't broke? So he could always use that against us, and he's every right to. He's the main man. But, sometimes we played Salah through the middle. Sometimes we played Divock through the middle, maybe played two through the middle. I do think that is a valid point to make about sort of when things are not going our way in our 4-3-3, then change it up. Change it up. You see it nice and early that it's not working. I mean, to be fair, we did change it up near the last 15, 20 minutes where we were literally playing 4-2-4, I think, or something like that. Mm-hmm. But to no avail. So when it's not your day, it's not your day. And it's very, very rare that you find that 1 to 11 have a stinker. And I think, we haven't functioned, as you guys have, referenced, we haven't functioned since the break. But there's always been one or two players revving it up for 20, 30 minutes a game, and it's seen us through.
Yeah.
Right? So, it gets us through a game. There was no one. There was no one that stood up and said, okay, let's get this game by the scruff of the neck. and see us through. So yeah, I think the criticism in terms of sort of flexibility in our formation, I think that's a very valid discussion to have.
There's loads of comments coming in here. Owen Burke said he feels Sancho is a must. I'm just going to read these out because there's loads of them coming in. JJ says Sancho as well. Tommy C says need a creative midfielder and a striker in the summer. Mohammed Jamil said, Salam Grizz, it's me, Chimp. I don't know who. Do you know this fella? The predictable thing don't mean nothing. For example, we know when Messi gets the ball, he is going to take you on. But can one deal with it? Nope. I don't know what that is. Do you know what that is, Chris? Kevin Sullivan says it's harsh to expect Origi to come in and make a difference after having virtually zero game time. If we lost Van Dijk, we would struggle, says Lewback. I think there's a lot of negativity around it tonight. And, I agree with Grace from what he says earlier. I'd rather lose like this. Just go out. Doesn't happen. You get bashed and you walk away, rather than a last-minute penalty or something like that. It's absolutely fine. We've lost the game, and we've played 28, won 26, drawn one, lost one. We've 79 points on the 1st of March.
Yeah, Fergie's great. United sides used to do this. Yeah. They'd smash the league, but then they'd have a random 3 or 4-0 loss to Southampton, and you're like, you're like, where the hell's that come from? Yeah. And then they go on another run again.
Yeah, it's like sometimes it's like a trip switch going, isn't it? It's like it's been fading a little bit over the last few weeks, and then it's just boom, it's gone dead, and now someone's just going to push that fuse back up, and away we go, and it's full power back on. I have a question for you both, and it's just something I thought about. We've lost this invincible chance now. I've seen people here saying, "Oh, the league's not over till it's match." The league is fucking over. It's as simple as that. Liverpool, there's no way in fucking hell Liverpool are not going to get 4 wins from the last 10 games. It's not happening, right? We're not. The league's over. I'll ask the question to you both, and Grizz, I'll come to you first. Do we break 100 points?
Do you know my prediction, wasn't it? It was 94 points, 95 points, and you absolutely smashed me to bits for it, as you do. You get very aggressive with me.
Very aggressive towards you. It's the only way to deal with you.
You get very aggressive with me when I don't agree with you. So, but
I tell them what you done yesterday. Go on.
Look. I was having a chat with a group of mates today, and we all kind of said, look, we always use that line, don't we? And it's irritating where we say, if you offered me blah blah blah, right at the start of the season. So if you offered me, the chance to sort of be invincible come March, yes, we would say, oh my God, it's very important that we take it. Look, I get that expectations and targets change as the season goes on. Now that we've won the league, as you say, and I totally agree with you, now that we've won the league in February, our target was the Invincibles. That has gone now. Now we sort of set our target for the 100 points tally, and we go for it. We use that as a motivation. I doubt very much if Klopp is using that as a motivation. But as fans, we've got a tendency to get bored and sort of so used to the success. Some of us are a spoiled bunch of twats. I hate to say it, but it's very true. And we expect perfection. I've never seen a perfect football team. There is no thing as perfection. The great teams of the past, we could mention so many, European and domestically, all had a very random, as Chris says, heavy defeat. We're not talking sort of 1-2. Suddenly they would lose 5-0. Do you remember Newcastle thrashing Man United out of the blue, 5-0 or 5-1. Do you remember? So this kind of, and then, the Southampton, as you referred to, sort of, I think they lost 3-0, 4-0, where Fergie changed the shirts at half time because they couldn't be seen or something,
Yeah.
So
that was great.
Random shit like this happens, Gav. We set our target for 100 points now. Yeah, go for it. Why not? I think we need 7 wins out of 10 to reach the 100 points barrier.
Well, the league games left is Bournemouth at home, Everton away, Palace at home, City away, Villa at home, Brighton away, Burnley at home, Arsenal away, Chelsea at home, Newcastle away. 10 games, 30 points gives you 109 points. So you can still drop 18 points between now and the end of the season.
No.
And still win the league. But Chris, I'll ask you the same question. Do you think we break 100 points? And people might think I'm ridiculous asking that, but I just think that where you think we might drop 4 come by the end of the season and go invincible and get 110. Now, because you've been beaten, you've 9 points of a swing to stay over the 100. And I think we lose more points because of this. Because I think we'll win the league in the next 4 or 5 league games, and then the last 5 will literally be thrown to the wayside. There's no point in playing.
I think if we get through past Madrid, especially if we get the FA Cup, I think then we do break 100 points. Because then Klopp will use that as the motivator to keep you on the toes, keep it, because you got something to play for in terms of you're not playing for 100 points, you're playing to get in the next round of the Champions League, you're playing to get inside for the FA Cup quarter-final, semi-final. I think that would help us get to 100 points. I think if we go out the FA Cup and Europe early, then I think it'd be high 90s. Okay. Personally, I think we'll still think we can get the 100-point mark. I mean, at the end of the day, we've only dropped 5 points all year, so as much as this hurts, people it does hurt losing games. It's very rarely happen, especially in the manner we lost it in. But the perspective is, yes, we can talk about the performance now, but ultimately it is 5 drop points in a season so far, which is pretty unprecedented. So it's not that ridiculous to say, well, why can't we go and get 100 points? We've so far done a run of 17 wins, then a draw, 18 wins, then a loss. It's a flip of a coin, but there's no reason to say, well, you can't do another run again. Yeah.
Shaq Khan has 109 points, no problem. He also wants to know, was that a non-alcoholic drink I was having tonight? It was. Maverick says we need to break 100 points as a must and get past Chelsea. I see fatigue in the side, so that makes Atletico Madrid a huge game. It is a huge game, but lads, Stephen Mack wants us to lose the next 5 and then win the last 5 for the crack. By the time we play Arsenal and Chelsea, they'll be fighting.
Absolute psycho.
I know, he's mental, he's deadly. I love him. By the time we play Arsenal and Chelsea, they'll be fighting for European places. Of the others, how many are in the relegation battle? Villa will be there, Brighton probably, Bournemouth probably, Bournemouth definitely are. There's not many teams in there where Everton is still in the chance for European spot. There's something to play for in this league.
Nothing. There's absolutely no doubt every single team we play against will be as motivated as Watford were. And we have to deal with that. This is absolute brilliant training for the following season. Because this is exactly where we'll be like next season. Every single team. We are the new Man City. We are the new Man United. You know what I mean? We are the team to beat. Not only in Premier League, but in Europe as well. Look at the state of the Atletico Madrid staff, players, coach, fans when they beat us 1-0 at their ground. It was like they've won the Champions League. We have to overcome this sort of, status that that we're going to get everywhere we go, home or away. Yeah, and I think it's absolutely fine, Gav. I'm embracing it.
Yeah, I'm a bit. I seen someone yesterday saying like the being so far ahead, the actual tension for them going into the game was, can we remain unbeaten? And afterwards, they kind of felt a little bit liberated that, that's just another thing off the. It's not on my shoulders when it comes to watching the match now. I'm just watching for Liverpool to win 4 league games at max, because City, of course, still have some tough games to play before the season's out, starting with United away next Sunday, I think. But can we all agree, lads, that it was a bad day at the office? It's definitely a little bit of a wake-up call, and you can fully expect Liverpool as a team and as a management to come through the other side of it, whether it be Tuesday or Saturday, with flying colours, Chris.
Yeah, definitely. I'd rather have these problems than where we were, 4 or 5 years ago, where it's like the battle for 8th, or it was more stressful, I think, trying to get top 4 than it is being in a title race. Title races, to me, actually, because I've very rarely seen Liverpool in one, they're actually quite, in a weird way, they're perversely quite fun. Because you kind of know most games, you're gonna win most games, and you've got a good chance of winning something. And in a nice possible way, when you get 4th, it was great to get 4th, but it's a bit like, got 4th, but you don't really get anything for it. I've been quite relaxed over the loss. It kind of got out of my system quite quickly. I think everyone just needs to relax a little bit.
Maverick says, Gav, you're remarkably calm over this Watford game. What's got into you? We all backed the boys, but the drop in levels was more than a bad day at the office. I think it was a culmination of 3 or 4 games, Maverick. I'm being honest. I said this to Grizz. He'll tell you of Norwich, Atletico, West Ham, and then this was a culmination for me. But the one thing I will say is, and Grizz has pointed out, the reaction of this team to when they're beaten or when they are harshly done by anything is exceptional. And the one thing I will say to you is, getting beaten is one thing, and they've a few of them have come out and said fair play to Watford, Jurgen Klopp included. But the reaction of other pundits, other managers, and other clubs, I think will be the biggest pick me up for this side out of everything. Because Grizz, we've seen Gary Neville. Now the Gary Neville thing for me, I laughed at. I thought he's having a bit of laugh. I've no problem with that. But the likes of Arsenal, and Arsenal fans in particular, who are just, fuck me, they're embarrassing. Grizz, do you think players looking at what the way actual football clubs have reacted to Liverpool being beaten by Watford will just make the players go, oh no, hold on, we're stepping this up again, we're not having this?
Absolutely. Motivation. This in this day and age, you don't have to rely on the manager giving a speech for motivation, rely on him. With the advent of social media, there is so many avenues to sort of use as tools for motivation. Now, I'm not saying every single player sort of sees the reaction of sort of people on social media like Gary Neville. But come on, they're humans. They will hear about it. Friends, families will tell them about it, and it will spur them on. They won't want to be. Look, I don't think, and I go back to our manager. I think we've got the best manager in this situation, because he will not let us limp over the line. It's just not in his makeup. He will make sure we're up for it. And I know we've discussed that, once we've secured the title, we may sort of go into sort of, in just cruise control mode. I don't think we will. I think we'll play with intensity. I think the players he may bring in to give a run at will be absolutely chomping at the bit to get a chance. So, look, currently it feels shit. We feel shit over that one defeat. And I think it, as I said, a great tonic, a great boost. That's over and done with. Not boost, but a tonic for us, wake up call, kick up the backside, call it what you want. We go into this week. Is it Atletico Madrid next week, Gav?
Yes.
Not this coming week.
Not
the
this
following
week,
week,
but the following week, yeah?
Yeah.
So we've got as important 3 games now as ever. The Chelsea game in the Cup, it's pure confidence, I think. I kind of agree with you. I don't think much changes in the way of his planning, and he'll have this game planned out last week. You know what I mean? So he won't want to sort of suddenly make changes in terms of how he was going to set up tactically. Bournemouth, could we pick a more convenient home game as a pick-me-up? I don't think so. And then, as I said to you before as well in private as well, the big one for me is Atletico Madrid. Gav, we are and have to be all systems go for that Atletico Madrid. Because I tell you what, there's no way we go through if we're not. There's absolutely no way. Every single player that was, as I said, 5 and below will have to be minimum 7 and above against Atletico Madrid. And we get through that, Gav, then I think we have become absolute favourites for the Champions League. And I also think we smashed 100 points barrier. That's how crucial that tie is for me.
John feels that you're wrong in a certain aspect. He says, we've gone into cruise control over the last 4 games. Ever since City lost to Spurs, we've taken our foot off the gas. That's not a bad point. I think that's a fair point that John has made there. Gav, what about the Notts Forest official Twitter replying to the Arsenal's few tweet? It was classic stuff.
Oh, it was brilliant.
It was. But listen, actual football clubs that have nothing to do with us are remarking on Liverpool losing the game. That's the level you're at. It's unbelievable. If anyone has any random questions, start throwing them in the next couple of minutes. We've about 10-15 minutes left, so if you have any random questions, absolutely throw them in, and I will try to remember them between now and when I start calling them out. Lads, I just want to look at Tuesday and look at Chelsea. I want you both to pick a team for me, because a lot of people think we go strong. A lot of people will think we won't. A lot of people have their idea of what they would do. But what do you feel Klopp will do on Tuesday, Chris?
I'm trying to think. I think he'll swap the keeper because that's just a thing everyone does in the cups now is play a reserve goalie. I think Trent does get a rest. I think Nico Williams probably has earned, another go. Would surprise me.
Slight injury doubt with Nico Williams. That's the
okay.
bit of a bugger.
Okay. Assuming if he's injured, that might reassess things. I'm thinking one of the fullbacks plays, whether Trent or Robertson. They may get an hour, then get taken off. My assumption was if Nico Williams is not injured, he would play and Robertson will probably play, maybe get an hour, and maybe you throw Trent on for the last half an hour. I think before Gomez got injured, I thought he was going to go Gomez Matip. But obviously with the Matip injury, with the Gomez injury, I'm not quite sure what he's going to do now. Because I think he should play one of the senior centre backs. It's Chelsea away, no matter what side Chelsea away, Chelsea put out, you need that. Midfield, I haven't got a clue. If it was me, I think he should play the likes of Fabinho to get. He needs games to get it to kick himself into form, and then play the likes of Lallana next to him, just a bit of an experienced head next to him. But I could see Minamino and Origi starting up front.
Okay. Klein is also in the squad, so he could play Tuesday at Santiago.
Christ.
Kieran has Adrian, Williams, Matip, Hoover, Robertson, Lallana, Fabinho, Milner, Jones, Mane, and Minamino. Grizz, give me a team for Tuesday.
I think we go. Nico Williams is fit. We go Nico Williams and the two young fullbacks. Who played? Was it Lewis? Who played
Adam Lewis the last time, because Larouci was injured.
Yeah, so Lewis or Larouci and Nico Williams if he's fit. I think he picks two experienced centre halves in Matip and Lovren. I think gets a chance to redeem himself. I think Adrian and go obviously. I think Fabinho gets another start, and then I think he goes alongside Lallana and possibly Triavella, how do you want to say his name? Have I absolutely torn his name to bits?
Chiravella.
Yeah, that's the fella.
Mm-hmm.
Minamino, Origi, and Jones.
Okay.
But that would mean Elliott doesn't get a start, which I think he will get a start. So, so take out Fabinho. I think he goes. Yeah, I think he goes quite.
Wouldn't surprise me if he maybe started one of the front three, like he did when we played Everton at home. In the league game.
I'd be surprised, but you never know with Klopp. I think the front three will be Minamino, Origi, and Elliott.
I think he has Adrian. I think it is Williams, Matip, Lovren, Larouci or Lewis. I think it's Chiravella, Lallana, and Jones, and I think it's Minamino, Origi, and Elliott. I think that's the way to go. Grizz, if aliens came to Earth, right, and we had to pick one person on Earth to communicate with them, see what the crack is with them, are they all right, are they here to kill us, a middleman, as you would call it, who would you put forward as the middleman to talk with aliens?
Surely me, no, okay?
Who?
Me.
You?
That's the invasion started.
Go on. Why?
Go on. I mean, you tell me. Is there? I can't think of a better middleman than me. I'd absolutely be more than happy to chat to aliens. I chat to you guys, don't I, every day in the WhatsApp group. So it's not alien to me. Pardon the pun.
Okay, so you're putting yourself forward as the middleman.
Man.
Okay,
yeah, man, definitely.
Chris, who would you in this world like to put forward as the middleman to the alien lads?
James Milner.
James Milner.
Yeah, he's laid back. He gets the job done, and he'll take no nonsense and tell you exactly what's going on.
I'd put James Corden forward, and hopefully they just take him away with him, and then we'd
sacrifice him.
And he's. I think he's well worth sacrificing, to be honest with you. Let me see. Random question: which two players would you get rid of? Jeez, that's a bit harsh, a bit deep. Grizz, two players that you would get rid of out of the Liverpool squad.
The squad. Get rid of.
No, you think will go?
I'll go with the non-controversial one, which is Lovren. I think it's time to go. And
close back.
I'd get rid of Origi.
Okay. Chris?
Yeah, the left guys, Origi. I think Origi. Thank you for your services and all the legendary bits and bobs that you've done, but there's just too much of a gap between the level Origi brings and our current front three.
Okay. Owen Burke would have Lovren and Lallana out the door.
They're the two I'd have.
I would...
Yeah, boring and obvious, isn't it? Then we know they're going anyway.
Yeah, but there's a reason to go.
I would... Does Brewster count?
Does?
Yeah, of course you can.
Yeah, Brewster then. And also I would... Klein will go. Emre Can, no, we keep him. He's the best thing ever. And
unless someone's running at him.
Yeah, I'm not going into Emre Can. Let's be honest. Grizz couldn't remember what colour shirt he wore yesterday. God help humankind. No, we couldn't remember what shirt colour we wore yesterday. But he doesn't need a great memory to talk to aliens. He just needs to have the crack with them, and he'd be fine. What's your favourite comedian, Chris?
Ooh. I think that was good. Oh, what's called? That was Scottish right about. Give me a minute.
Kevin Bridges.
Sorry?
Kevin
That's
Bridges.
it. Yeah, his name would complete. Yeah. I quite like Kevin Bridges at the moment.
Okay, Grizz, your favourite comedian?
Oh, that Essex guy. What's his name, man? The one with the long curly hair. Help me out here.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Cut me one.
He's funny as well. He's good as well.
Shut up, I remember it.
Come on, someone come in here.
Oh, yeah. I know him.
You know him, yeah?
Yeah, he's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. Kevin Sullivan has Jimmy Carr and Tommy Tiernan. Dave Chappelle says Stanley. Mickey Flanagan. He's brilliant. I've seen him live. He's absolutely brilliant. Favourite comedian of all time is Billy Connolly. Nobody goes near him. And at the moment, I do like Mickey Flanagan. I love Bill Burr, the American Bill Burr. He's just ridiculous. He's so fucking funny. So yeah, they would be my favourites when it comes to comedians. Grizz, I had KLOPP on the other night, and we were talking about these storms. You know these storms?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And do you remember yesterday, Grizz, when we asked you for a prediction for the match yesterday?
Yeah.
You know where I'm going here, don't you?
Of course I do.
Right. So we asked you for a prediction yesterday, and you made a prediction while you were outside the house. You made a prediction, and then you went in, and you went into the house, and your comment to me was, "The wind has died down," and then you changed your prediction because the wind had died down because you'd gone indoors.
Absolutely logical. Absolutely, I can give you context.
Yeah. I want to know. Go on, because I feel I should give you the opportunity to talk your way out of this.
All right, Chris, you can hear me out as well.
All right.
Oh, well done.
Because I noticed you laughed as well as he was asking me. So
I always laugh at you. I'm
gonna make me out of both of you and tell me what's weird about this.
Okay.
So as I'm walking up to the ground from the station,
all
right, or my mate's house, as the case was, because I parked my car in my mate's house, near my mate's house, in Watford, right? So it's very windy. It's very, very blustery. It's raining. It's very, very windy.
Yeah.
Now these guys asked me for a prediction, and I said, well, I can't tell you until I get into the ground.
No, you didn't say that. You didn't say that.
Well, that's what I meant. You
didn't. You said the weather out is fucking terrible, and here's my prediction.
That's what I meant. Can I tell you what I meant?
Yep.
Is that fair?
Yeah. I'm going to find the
Forget
WhatsApp message while you're telling me.
Forget what I said. There's only so much I can type when I'm walking and trying to get to the ground, right? Okay. Because you're a bunch of aliens in this WhatsApp group, right? You've got to remember this. Bunch of lunatics, right? So I'm just giving them an overbrief of the weather, and I'm saying it's absolutely mad. It's horrendous. I think we struggle today. Yes, I said that, didn't I?
Oh yeah.
I think we struggle today. These conditions will suit them more than us. And then when I got into the ground, when I walked through the turnstiles, when I got into the ground, I actually thought the stands will be sort of not sufficiently covered in terms of, it won't be high enough to cover the winds, and it won't be conducive to good football, because I thought the weather outside will near enough be so drastic it will affect the match and the pitch inside. But it was different. And that's all I said. I said, oh, I'm pleasantly surprised. It doesn't seem as bad inside as it was outside.
Okay.
That's all I said. And, fair play. The weather conditions, we can't blame the weather conditions. The weather conditions inside the ground weren't that sort of, at fault for the shitty performance.
But still at the same time, Grizz, you were in a fairly open area and you made one prediction and then you went into a more enclosed area, and by some remarkable feat, the wind had died down in the enclosed area. And
it's fluid.
It is fluid. It's definitely fluid.
Predictions are fluid.
Okay. Avo says, what's your favourite pie or pasty filling?
I like Cornish pasties.
Cornish pasties. What's in them?
Meat, carrots, gravy, and peas.
Not bad. I'll try one of them. Chris, what's your favourite one?
If he takes out the carrots and peas, I'll have Chris's one.
So it's a steak pie, Chris.
So a steak one then.
Which one?
Steak pie.
So you have a steak pie.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. That's unbelievable, isn't it?
Oh, dear.
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Stephen Mack says curry pie. Yeah, I do like a curry pie, I have to say.
Oh, no.
If I was in the shop and I seen them little pies, curry is probably the one I go for. Probably just ahead of steak. That's being honest. Grizz, anything else on your mind before we go? Oh, sorry, one question for you, Grizz. Do you feel we will get Timo Werner?
Yep, 100%. Or did I say 100%? 95%.
No, first answer.
First answer, yeah.
95% you're happy Timo Werner becomes a Liverpool player?
Yeah. Timo Werner's done.
Okay, no problem at all. And it's
Do you think we'll get anybody else?
Yeah, we'll get two others. I think we're going to make 3 major signings this summer.
You're gonna put any names to those 3 major signings, or are they fluid?
No, not yet. I haven't got names for the other 2. But
okay, fair enough.
We've looked at Jamal Lewis being one of them. Cantor we have interest in. So yeah. We got plenty. We got plenty of time for that. But the only one that I know of that we've sort of agreed personal terms with, and I said it a few weeks ago.
Yep.
As Gav knows, is Timo Werner.
Okay. And Grizz, I'll ask you again. Is there anything else on your mind before we leave?
Yeah, pie is on my mind now.
Of course.
I'm thinking. I'm struggling. Where do I get a pie at this time of night from? So yeah, but that is on my mind. I'm just being honest.
Okay, that's fine. And is there anything else you'd like to speak about before we leave then?
No, I'm fine. I mean, I'm really looking forward to this FA Cup game now, Gav.
Okay.
Really looking forward to this.
Okay.
So yeah, bring on Chelsea and Tuesday, and hopefully going to that one as well.
Cool.
So I'll give you a weather report.
Let me know if the wind is different in an open area as opposed to an enclosed area.
Yeah, thanks, Michael Fish.
Thanks, Michael Fish. Right, Chris, anything else in your mind before we leave?
The thing on my mind is hopefully my daughter stop being sick. I'm going to check that in a minute.
She got the coronavirus?
I don't know. I'll soon find out. I'll let you know.
Okay.
Another thing I'm looking forward to is I've got a ticket to the game on Saturday.
Oh, Bournemouth.
So first I've been to a game in ages, so I'll look forward to going Anfield again.
Well, Grizz was present at our only league defeat this season, and if we get knocked out of the FA Cup and Grizz is in Stamford Bridge, he will, of course, be banned from watching Liverpool live. That's just how it works. Just a little tip for everyone on the coronavirus. Masks mean fuck all. Don't wear them. It's only if you have the virus that you're meant to wear them. And second thing is, if you wash your hands for 20 seconds all the time, whenever you need to, you'll be absolutely fine. That's it. It's as simple as that, lads. That's been your health checkup with the LFC Day Trippers and the FB4 Daily for your Sunday night. The club will be back tomorrow, recorded tomorrow night and hopefully released tomorrow night as well. I'll more than likely be back on Tuesday. Will be back on Tuesday. You know I will be after the Chelsea game. Grizz, thanks a million, my friend, for joining me. I love you very much.
I love you too, Gav.
Good stuff. Chris, I love you very much too, and thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me again, mate.
Can't believe you didn't say I love you too. Over and out.
You could earn it.